Thank you. One of the things that that you and I have done, Jan, is we not only have to build back, we have to build back better. There are certain things we can do to prevent things from being, if the same thing occurred, from as much damage occurring. And that costs money, but it also saves money. There is climate change. There is climate change. This is part of it, and we have to deal with it. And the other thing is that, when I was with you, Gov, and we were looking around the state, it looked to me as I traveled when I was out with you in California, what it reminded me of more of a war scene where you had certain targets that were bombarded, where artillery was just blew them up. With no rhyme or reason. In other words, you'd have this fire going crazy and burning everything down and 3 houses being fine. Yeah. Nothing's happening. Or neighborhoods that were still green. Still green. And next to a place that, for example, we're just looking at a Secret Service house that was out there. All the vehicles are melted. Yet the house next door still has green shrubbery on it. And, the house is fine. There's only, I think, 4 or 5 houses in that 200, it's in the Pasadena area. But my generic point is, it's almost like it's a battle scene.
But Mr. President, we saw that in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida with hurricanes.
Yeah.
This is also the nature of, to your point, this changing climate, these extreme weather conditions. Not only are they volatile and devastating, but there is no method necessarily to the impact in terms of the predictability of where it might land if we're talking about a hurricane or a wildfire.
Well, for example,
and so resilience and adaptation.
We found, Gov, that in these other areas, like the hurricanes from North Carolina and Florida, where you saw entire highways devastated, coming off the side of mountains, dropping into. Well, you got to build back the highway a different way, so make it stronger. We're going to have to deal with this, and we can make it. I know any of your constituents who are listening say, "My God, don't tell me about better. Just tell me about getting back." But we can not only build it back, we can build it back better, God willing.
100%. No, it is remarkable, and to your point, particularly as the smoke is clearing, you see that very indelibly and visually here in this fire. These newly constructed homes more likely to have survived. Those with different materials, those with the latest home hardening investments, and that was the chapter verse, the lesson, the master class, and this was the campfire. Remember, we lost 85 lives, 18,000 structures up there in Paradise, California, and those structures that did survive. And so we've changed our building codes. We began to adapt to this new reality. And I just say this to the deniers out there: you may not believe in science, but you have to believe your own eyes. Mother Nature's been said by others. It's just, chemistry, biology, and physics. She bats last. She bats 1,000. There's been no rain. It's January in Southern California. It's the wettest time of year. None projected in the next many days. There's been a modest amount since last May here in Southern California. The hots are getting hotter, dry's drier, wet's a lot wetter with these atmospheric rivers. And on that, Mr. President, this is an area that we need to focus right now, and that's the likelihood that we may see some intense rain and a lot of debris flow and issues around massive flooding, which often is more deadly than the fires themselves.
That's what happened in North Carolina when we talked about the hurricane. You saw the entire rivers fill. Anyway, there's a lot we can do, though.
I do remember when we used to have a fire season. You remember that, Governor?
No.
We used to have a fire season, right? In your entire term, that has not been the case. This is January. Fire season used to be at the end of summer. So, absolutely correct. And then we know that was the reason for such massive devastation. But again, sending out Deanne Creswell, it was wonderful to meet you yesterday. Everybody was very excited to know that you were going to be here and to know that FEMA was going to be a resource that they can access right away. Continuing that is really what is needed right now, and I want to thank you once again.
The Vice President and I have initiated every federal agency